See, conversation is the exact opposite of what debate looks like. This is why in the world around us there's not a lot of preparation going on, is because we've all come to a place where we feel like we have the answers. So every conversation we get into ends up being an argument or a debate where we're trying to prove our point instead of listening and processing the data that we're receiving. I was talking to someone just last night, and they said that there was this person who was just really cantankerous that they worked with and all the things, and everybody get mad at them, but nobody realized or knew that that person was battling cancer. They just assumed she was a curmudgeon. But when somebody took the time to watch her, observe her, process all these, to open a door of conversation, to ask the question, they realized that she was the way she was because of what she was going through. Her identity was not cantankerous and mean and angry. Her identity was a woman who was suffering and didn't know how to process it, didn't have people in her life of intimacy and connection, only had people in the work that needed something from her, that didn't stop and take notice and say, "How can I help you?" So there was a rough exterior, a rock or two that developed because no one was listening. How many times do we have people in our life and we see a shift in or a change, their attitude, their demeanor changes, and we just assume, oh, they're taking it out on me. I'll just cut that person out of my life instead of going to them and asking, what occurred? How did these rocks develop? See, that's the field preparation moments, is through conversation and connection, relationship. You begin to see things that they can't even see in their own life. You begin to see things that everybody else has neglected to inform them of. But you develop this bond that they trust you. And when you pick that stone up in their life and you're like, see this? I know it's been here a long time. And you even used it maybe as a boundary on your field, but there's no value to this. It's actually preventing you from having fertile ground. It's actually preventing your growth in this area. It's actually holding you back from walking into like a disconnect from this thing. This has actually become your identity instead of what the property could look like without it. It also lets them know when they look at this property of all these rocks and all these stones, and it seems overwhelming that they have to do this alone. It's somebody coming and saying, I'm not here for the harvest. I'm not here for the seeding. I'm not here to put my name on and say, look what all I did. I'm here to roll my sleeves up. And I'm here to do the hard work that I never get talked about. The preparation that no one will care about when the grass is green, the fruit is growing, because everyone will remember when the seed was planted. Everyone will remember when the water was sent, the fertilizer was added, the harvest was ready. But no one remembers the person who picked up the stone. I go back to a very powerful moment where I believe Jesus was teaching his disciples this exact process. In a very well known moment, right towards the end of Jesus' life, he has the Last Supper with his disciples. But he did something. We talk about the Last Supper, but he did something in this supper before they ate. It says he washed their feet. See, this is very symbolic in nature, to the same as preparing your field, because in those day and times, people walked with sandals on dirt paths. By the end of the day, getting ready for dinner, their feet were very dirty. May have even stepped in some animal left behinds. But there was some preparation that had to occur before they could eat. There was some cleaning off of what had been so they could step into the next step. But then Jesus did it in such a beautiful way, because he said, I am going to serve you. Because preparing someone's field is actually serving them to prepare them to produce a harvest. See, they'll get the credit down the road. They'll be the ones that have seen it changing their life. Look at all that's growing in your life. Look at what you've done in your business. Look what you've done in your relationship. But deep down, that person will know, I never would have even made it here if someone hadn't been willing to serve me. And Peter is like, Jesus, you're not washing my feet. I should be washing your feet. And Jesus said, no, until you humble yourself. If there's anything I need you to know, Peter, if there's anything I need you to know, disciples, sometimes you're called to just pick up a stone. Sometimes you're called just to pick up a stone. Sometimes you're called just to wash a foot. Because you may be the one that's called to prepare the field so that somebody else can come along and plant it.